Shalom Israel. Before I start, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Barakah Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles in Israel who rule and teach well, to the Akim and the Iwas and Biwas and those pushing this word in truth and sincerity, to the brothers and sisters in the truth. Now, we can see from the title, it says, can you see it yet? The B system being laid. And, what we teach is that the MOTB is actually you go into the chip shop and getting yourself a portion of chips, using certain analogies so that these algorithms don't muck about with the channel. And that goes back to the apostles of GMS, who has always been teaching that the MOTB is you going to the chip shop and getting yourself a portion of chips. Was then taught that to the elders underneath them, and this is how I come into this knowledge as well. But there's a video I want to play from this guy here. His channel is called Uneducated Economists, and I was led onto this channel by one of the elders at GMS, GMS Fear the Most High 7. Check out the elders channel. I think it's Fear the Most High 7 bar. He has numerous videos showing you how this system is being laid and put in place. And if you look at the title of this video, it says the global crisis leading to digitalization, tokenizing, and eventually tracking. And this is what when you go to the chip shop, this is what it will end up doing. It will be able to track you. It will be able to limit what you can or can't buy. But at the end it says the B system, and there's brothers in the truth that can't see what we're saying to be the MOTB, and it's only a case of it's the Most High that's not opened their eyes to see it. But like I said, if you go to GMS Fear the Most High 7 bar, the elder, he's brought out numerous information showing you how the system is being laid. And this is another video where this guy here, he speaks on what we see in the title, the digitalization, etc. And these are crises being brought in and put in place, so that they can come with their solution, which will be you going to the chip shop, and it will be passed off as something good, but then it's the ultimate idea behind these things. But I want to play this video here because the way he explains it is very good. So let's go.
Good afternoon, everybody. Uneducated Economist here. So the global slowdown, it continues. It's getting worse by the day. Articles are coming out like crazy.
And the thing is, a lot of people can't even see that, this system is actually crumbling because they're still able to go clubbing, to buy certain things. But, when you get into certain shops, you're seeing that the shelves ain't as plush as they used to. They're sparsing things out so they don't look as empty. But if you have eyes, you see that raw. Things ain't as good as they used to be. It's a gradual process. It's not something that's happening bang. Otherwise, it will probably scare a lot of people. So it's like the frog in water situation. You turn up the heat little by little. By the time you realize it, it's too late for him to get out, because as the heat is going up, he's adjusting his body temperature, and and it's the same thing that's happening here. They're turning up the heat little by little. And by the time you realize it, it's going to be too late. Yeah, so let me just drop that back.
Educated Economist here. So the global slowdown, it continues. It's getting worse by the day. Articles are coming out like crazy about China slowing down. The United States is obviously slowing down. the home builders are probably one of the best indicators of what's going on in the United States. Same thing with China too. Like there's so much that goes on with property development that incorporates itself into the rest of the economy, that by just looking at the property developers alone, you can really just judge the health of the economy by following that. And right now, the builder sentiment is terrible. And I know, I mean, I work in the building industry. I do building supplies for a living. That's what I do. I sell retail. And it is incredible to watch when there is a huge, like, booming building season.
eToro presents. The S&P big time, but remember
and what that is like at the lumberyard, it is intense. There is many phone calls. There's constant quotes. There's special orders rolling through. There is a lot happening. And when you come into a slowdown like the wintertime, it's pretty typical that, you know, less phone calls, less special orders, stuff like that starts happening. But right now, it is obviously slowing down. Like, it is not just a slowdown in the amount of sales and special orders.
You know, if you're in certain industries, like you're saying, he's in the building, you know, he's able to see these things. But for the average person that may not be in those environments, they may not realize what's actually happening around them. Because, like I said, you can still go to your clubs, you know, do basically near enough the same things you was doing before the pandemic came in, you know. So people ain't really seeing what's happening behind the scenes, which is why, you know, we bring these things out for the people. Well, for those who have eyes, you know, to see.
Orders that are taking place. But it is a slowdown in the, like, future thinking of projects. Like, people coming in looking for, like, say, possible future deck plans, you know, like they're going to build a deck next summer or something like that. A lot of times people will come in looking for what the quotes are right now, so they have an idea of what that's going to be like going to be, you know, when they do the project next year or something like that. Like they're getting their budgets in mind. And a lot of that has really dissipated. Like I'm not getting many of those future project kind of calls right now. Something interesting on the flip side of that is there are a lot of orders coming in, like say, you know, windows and doors, things that have been taking quite a bit of lead time to them have now started to come up in more frequency as far as the orders, like, you know, people coming in and placing these things. Excuse me. And although it's not like the intense that you would expect from like a booming season, it is pretty surprising considering the time of year and what's going on with the rest of the economy out there. Seeing this retail sales of doors and windows stay not necessarily like steady, but better than the rest of the building industry that I'm seeing out there. So it seems like these shorter lead times for doors and windows has encouraged people to start replacing those doors and windows, say that they have.
And at the moment, it's kind of just warming up into the information, but then, you know, get another minute or so.
Been postponing because of those long lead times. It seems like some of that kind of activity has taken place. But overall, it's slowing down. Everything is. There's less material coming through. There's less orders being placed on the overall. There is less happening when it comes to the amount of distribution going through not only just what I'm seeing personally, but throughout the rest of the economy. And you can really see that. Just take a look at the articles that I leave down in the description. Trucking is a good indicator of this. Now, I guess my point to all this
and
is
with
that
the trucking, with the oil issue, that even heightened that problem even more, because oil's, you know, petrol's gone up, you know, so it's costing more for you to deliver whatever goods you have, which then that cost is passed down to the customer, because the cost of what you normally buy something for, that has to go up.
when we have this slowdown this gives an opportunity.
And these are all orchestrated situations, believe it or not, because it's like you're running and I put my foot out. You don't see me put my foot out and trip it over. You graze your knee. Then I'm coming with a plaster. Oh, here, this is the same thing that's happening. They're causing the problem and we'll come with a solution. And it's the solution that's going to get a lot of people caught up, which is why we bring out these information.
For there to be a change in the way things are done. This is something that I have been saying for quite some time, and that I feel that when we come through this whole next recession, downturn, whatever it is, the next booming economy, whatever that looks like, is going to have a digital aspect to it. I believe everything is going to get tokenized and be on a digital ledger distributed type of system. Like everything is going to go blockchain.
And these things are being put in place. A lot of the banks are looking at digital currencies, you know.
And when I'm finding the articles,
and the system that's being put in place, the Internet of Things, the smart cities, all of these all tie in together. You know, it's just a foundation being laid. And then once the foundation is laid, all you need is a situation to trigger, for you to trigger putting in place the plans that you have, you know, to get everybody going to the chip shop.
That's what I'm finding now, talking about how they are trying to change and establish a type of system. Like everything is going to go blockchain. And when I'm finding the articles that I'm finding now, talking about how they are trying to change and establish and now incorporate the new digital systems within the supply chain, it almost guarantees that there is going to be something like that going into the future. Like, almost guaranteed. And something that I'm finding interesting, I didn't catch the mill that it was from.
Where to make your streams.
But I should probably go and take a look at that. But I noticed like 2x4s now have almost like a serial code written on them. Like each individual.
Yeah, 2x4 is a piece of wood, a plank of wood. You know, they're putting serial codes on wood.
2x4 has another individual mark on it. So I'm thinking that's like the first step to tokenizing all the lumber, is to have a serial code on each one of these sticks of lumber. Because with that, now you can track and trace. Make it as something.
Because what we're saying, when you do get the when you do go to the fish and chip shop, what that would allow you to do is access all the other things that has been put in place. Yeah, not everything is going to be on that fish and chip, but it will allow you to access these things that they're putting in place.
Thing as simple as a QR code, and now you do have like something that you can really like trace from the time that it leaves the forest all the way to it goes to the address of the house that it gets used in as far as the construction goes. That's something that's really scary to think about, but also pretty cool. Like how well they can track each individual piece of item all the way down from the tree to the stud in the wall.
So if they can track those, what do you think you going to the chip shop would allow them to be able to track as well? And he goes into some of that.
That's pretty cool. Like scary, but pretty cool. Because now you think about like if they were able to do this, say, into the food supply. Well, now you may have, something that has like an E. coli breakout. You got bad lettuce or bad beef or something that's going on. With a digital technology, you can track and trace every single package, every single piece of that stuff that has been distributed throughout the entire supply chain. I mean,
and when put like that, it sounds good. It sounds good.
Right down to the person who bought it. Like you could inform that person that they have purchased something that is tainted or considered, no good. And
that sounds good.
that is pretty neat. Like, I mean, it could actually send you an alert that would let you know that you have purchased something that is not good, that is not safe to
But
eat.
what's the flip side?
You know, this is scary in its sense. You know, I mean, like what it can do, but it's also pretty cool, right? I mean, this is going to be the most efficient possible system that could ever been conceived. And what it's going to do for technology and humanity, I mean, who knows? It's,
So we know.
again, like, you know, I'm not trying to brag it up saying it's the greatest thing that should happen.
And what that would do, we bring out in the scriptures.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that it shouldn't happen either. I mean, I'm just saying that it is happening and some of the neat benefits that are going to come from it. Now, granted, there's going to be some really horrible stuff that comes from it too. And especially if you let your imagination roll and get into the conspiracy theories of it, then yeah.
And this is how they try to. This is how they try to disannul the things that we bring out now and put it down as conspiracy theories. But you can see the foundation for these things being put in place. So how is it a conspiracy?
It can get pretty scary out there as far as like cutting off your ability to purchase food, even, you know, if you don't behave within the confines of what the government says is appropriate. I mean, whatever that's supposed to be. I mean, these things that's feasible. I mean, that could really come.
And that is the ultimate idea behind these things being put in place, you know, to be able to control, you know, bring back slavery in a more controlled way now.
If that is the case, then you know you're going to have something outside of the system. And that's where, like, being involved in the other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin.
Now, this is where to me kind of goes off. But what the other thing that we need to be involved in outside of the scriptures as Israelites is outside of the system. So like, as Israelites, is us being in the scriptures. You know, us being in a state of repentance, because the scripture speaks about these things happening, you know, and we don't want to get caught up. We want to be protected by the Most High when He's allowing these things to come to pass. So, you know, you can make preparations to some extent, but then don't rely on those preparations, because if you stack out your yard with bare food, and then you have to leave your house for some kind of, you know, some kind of emergency, some danger is coming, and you're not going to be able to pack up everything that you've stored. Yeah? This is why ultimately it comes down to us having faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's what it boils down to ultimately, you know.
Or even like some of the security coins like Monero, which is
like the scripture does say, my servant shall eat. But what it doesn't say is how often those servants are going to eat, which is why, you know, things like fasting is very good, preparing the conditioning the body to being without food for a period of time, you know.
Not tracked like or traced like the Bitcoin protocol can be. There's all kinds of ways to be outside of the system, to get out of this. Now, the only problem with that is that everybody else is going to be involved in that system. And if you want to participate in society, that's what you're going to have to be involved with. That's scary to think of.
And we, so lucky I got a cold. We don't want to be partakers in society. We have to be separate. Yeah, it says be ye separate.
So be sure and have your alternative ways, like, you know, gold and silver, ammunition.
That's not going to help you.
You know, having the cryptocurrencies, being able to can food. That's like one of the most important things that I think a lot of people overlook. They have a year's worth of food supply.
That's the gist of it. But I want to bring this out quickly. Hopefully this is running a bit better. All right. Outside of the system, this is what we need, man. We need the Most High and His Son Yahushai. This is Luke 1. And 68. It says, "Blessed be the Lord power of Israel, for he has visited and redeemed his people, and has raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us." And this is what we want, to be saved from our enemies. And the only way we're going to be able to be saved from our enemies is to be separate, to not take part in the system, to trust in the Most High to be our guidance, regardless of how things may seem. Now, this is Forbes. It says, "Digital currency, the future of your money." So look at bit I want to read from this. It says, "What is digital currency?" It says, "Digital currency is any currency that's available exclusively in electronic form. Electronic versions of currency already predominate most countries' financial systems." You see that? What differentiates digital currency from the electronic currency that's already in America's bank accounts is that digital currency never takes physical form. So, you can go, it says that you can go to an ATM right now and easily transform the electronic record of your currency holdings into physical dollars. Yeah, you can go and draw money out. Whereas with the digital currency, however, never leaves a computer network, and it is exchanged exclusively via digital means. So this is how they'll be able to control. If you can never get that physical money out, everything's all digital, they can stop your accounts. They can stop you from purchasing certain things via you going to the chip shop. Now, like I say, we bring these things out, but it's not for everybody. Matthew 13 and 16, it says, "Blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear." Like I was saying, it's not everyone that's able to shalom. It's not everyone that's able to receive what's being said. It's only a select few. And this guy here, I don't believe is in the truth in any way, but then he's got enough sense to be able to see what's happening. Like I said, the title, "The Global Crisis Leads to Digitalization, Tokenizing, and Eventually Tracking the Beast System." Yeah, Beast System. Isaiah 6 and 9 says, "And he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed." So we'll come out, tell you, MOTB is the fish and chip shop. But it says, "Hear ye indeed, but understand not." A lot of our people can't understand what we're saying. And "See ye indeed, but perceive not." We're showing you what's being put in place. We're showing you what's going on, what they're doing. But you're not able to perceive it to be what we're saying it is. And that's a scary thing. It says, "Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed." Showing you that the Most High don't want certain of our people to be healed, because you've got a wicked mindset to start with. You're not willing to serve Yahweh Shem Yahushai or to bow down to his will. This system gives you that "do as thy will" mentality. YOLO, you only live once mentality. And that's going to be the downfall of many of our people. Revelation 13 and 16. It says, "And he causeth all," not some, all. Because that's the plan at the end of the day, to have everyone under this system. Yeah, don't matter who you are. Yeah, you'd only have the select at the head, at the top, who's controlling everything, who's outside of the system. But everyone else is subservient to this system. "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand." Yeah, you go into the fish and chip shop, "or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark." And what was he saying? You can see how things can go. Like, they can stop you from buying certain things once these things are in place. Yeah, "and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Because here is wisdom, man. Yeah, this is what we're giving you. Wisdom from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, but is the number of a man. Yeah. And what man is that? Let me finish that off. And his number is 600, 6. It says it's the number of a man. So 2 Thessalonians 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. Let no man deceive you by any means. Yeah, and how they're going to try and deceive us? By all these things that they're putting in place, letting you think, oh yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, it's all deception. So let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And that's what we're doing. We're revealing this man through the things that he's implementing, showing our people, look, this is what he's doing, this is what it's going to lead to. But it's only for those who have eyes to see. Isaiah 14. I'll start at 13. For thou said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. It's lucky, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought to hell, to the sides of the pit. Here we go. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, is this the man? Yeah. This is what we're revealing, that man. And who's that man? Esau. Saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Yeah. But, just something I wanted to bring up. I came across this video here, and it's showing you how the system is crumbling, and it's only for those who have eyes to see. You know, this is why we bring out these information. So hopefully it was edifying. Yeah, with that, I'm going to close out. Yeah, shalom, shalom. With that, I'm going to close out. I'm going to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahara Kakadash, Kwame Sha'ala.